Welcome to Starengu's podcast. I'm your host, Tasha Johnson. And I want to thank you so much for tuning in to what I am referring to as our Weekend Warrior Saturdays. And you're probably wondering, what does that mean? And so the reason I came up with this segment is because on Saturdays, we have a tendency, those of us that decided to really invest in ourselves and pursue another creative outlet, most of the time when we decide to do that is on the weekends. And so Saturday, in my opinion, is the start of the weekend. And so especially Saturday mornings. So we have a lot more time to devote to learning a new skill or just trying to actually have some time to sit back and think about what it is that we really want from life. And so I want to make sure that I am sharing different tips about technology, marketing, productivity, tips and tricks of that nature on Saturdays in order to help you think about some of the things that you may want to incorporate into your game plan. So today, I wanted to share a tip about podcasting on Anchor. So I know Anchor recently released the ability to actually record audio on Anchor without having to deal with the whole time limit situation. But I have to admit, guys, I have never actually allowed myself to be constrained to that whole time limit thing because I have actually figured out a way to kind of go around that. So what I've always done, guys, and I'm going to give you two different ways to go about doing this. I'm going to show you one way that's kind of on a budget, and then the second way that I would kind of view as an investment. Okay, so there's two different ways without having to use the Anchor app to record your audio. So if you're on a budget, and again, if you're on the go too, because I've done this on the go as well, you could actually record your podcast using a voice memo app that's by a company called Utilities. So if you've got an iPhone, you could go to the App Store, download Voice Memos. It's an application by Utilities. And in fact, if the audio sounds good to you right now, just so you know, I'm actually using this app right now to actually create this podcast. Then you could easily, once you're done with creating the podcast using that app, you can actually share that voice memo to Google Drive. And then you can use a really cheap, another like desktop application to clean up the audio. And what I mean by that, guys, is if there are extraneous sounds in the background, you have the ability to, clean that up. You could use Screencast, Omatic, or you can use another free tool that's called Audacity. Audacity. And then you could just, once you're done doing that, guys, you could just go ahead and upload that audio to your Anchor podcast station using the desktop app. So again, that's how you could go about, making sure that you've got your audio to perfection without using the Anchor app, but still using Anchor to actually upload the audio and then publish it out to the various podcasting platforms like iTunes and Google Play and all that good stuff. Now, if you are really looking into doing a lot more podcasting, creating YouTube tutorials and things of that nature, the next thing that I would definitely consider would be more of an investment. So then you could actually go ahead and record your podcast using a mic like the Blue Yeti, which, by the way, that's a mic that I have because I do create videos and courses, so I have that, or the ATR 2100 by Audio Technica, and that's another good mic. I'm actually going to look into getting that one as well. I heard that one is just as good as the Blue Yeti, but it's not as sensitive. So, and then you could look into getting something that's called a pop filter. So that's something that you place over the mic in order to protect the mic. So, because sometimes when you talk, let's be honest, sometimes you spit and you don't mean to. And so the pop filter actually protects your mic, from that happening, but also it makes your words sound a lot crisper, if you will. And so then you also have the ability to edit and produce your video using software like Camtasia. Now, Camtasia is kind of a pricey software, but if you're going to be doing a lot more videos, I highly suggest that you look into that as well. And then, just like you would with the other, if you were to use the on the budget options that I just discussed, you can upload that audio to Anchor, to the Anchor podcast station and go from there. So I hope you enjoyed this little podcast Weekend Warrior tech tip. And please let me know if you have any other questions about how to do anything else dealing with marketing or productivity or technology or things of that nature, because I want to make sure that you get the information that you need. So thanks so much, guys. I really appreciate you listening, and be sure to share this podcast with others. If you don't mind, I would love it if you could write a review on iTunes or Google Play so other people can discover this as well. Thanks so much. I'll see you in the next podcast.